The Busted Play Podcast with the bitter Oklahoma City Thunder fan, Dylan Marsh, the overly optimistic Oklahoma Sooner fan, JD, the Roger Goodell hater, Garrett Factor, and the faceless wonder himself, producer Zach.
You still got Russ.
We've got accolades, not titles.
Yeah, there you go.
Those offenses succeed so well, and especially at these military academies, is because that's the offense that requires the most discipline. Because there's so much going on each play, and there's so much motion going on each play, you cannot do a single thing.
It's not fun. The NFL sucks.
Like wrap them all up in bubble wrap.
Yeah.
That's what they should do.
Knocker ball. They should do set, but seriously.
Write these down. We got good things going.
Baseball games that are like 12, 13, 11 or 12 years old, catch a foul ball, turn around and give it to the attractive girl sitting behind him. Mm-hmm. She's probably like 25, 26, way older than anybody still,
Did you see the old switcheroo he did with
a respectable program where you can't take them lightly?
Did you draw devil horns on Tom Herman earlier? Wow.
Boomer.
Oh my.
Maybe Oklahoma in general is good at throwing punches.
Oh my. Oh my. Zach. And don't be that guy, Zach. Don't talk on the phone inside the booth during the podcast. All right, bowl season is officially kicked off, and pretty exciting so far, unless you count the Independence Bowl. But here in Shreveport, this is the Busted Play Podcast in the 1130 The Tiger Studios. Garrett Factor not here tonight, as he is in Vegas, spending Christmas with, I think, his girlfriend's family, whatever. But his replacement, we have Gonzo. Thanks for being here, dude. Real knows his football, and he's going to join us, and we are going to have one of the football-only podcast here for Busted Play, because you want to embrace something that you're about to lose for a while, right? And how sad are you all? Football's about to end. And
I'm not excited about it at all, Dylan.
Well, this is my job, and, you have basketball, baseball's coming up, but baseball seems like once it gets here, it's exciting. After 2 weeks, it's like, wait, oh my God, how long is this freaking season? So we have to embrace it. That's why we are having a football-only podcast. We're going to go ahead and start with the LSU bowl game against Heisman Trophy winner Lamar Jackson and the Louisville Cardinal and Bobby Petrino, that biker himself. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Gonzo. LSU fan. So what do you expect from the Tiger defense against Jackson?
I expect us to definitely contain Lamar. I think we have the defense to do it. I think Lamar's very talented. But at the same time, there's going to be keys put on him. And I think our secondary will get a pick or two.
Okay. Well,
Ardarius, you're talking about Keys. I say Ardarius Keys has a huge game and completely just annihilates that Louisville offensive line and gets after Lamar Jackson.
Agreed.
All right. Well, if Lamar Jackson this is what I think. I think Lamar Jackson's going to be able to get past the defensive line, and without Kendall Beckwith, I think that's a huge hit for that defense. But with the fact of really, kid, really, come on now,
First time.
come on now. But with the secondary with White and Adams, I like what you said with throwing picks. I think Tre'Davious White, Jamal Adams will probably both have a pick each in this game, because they've shown in the past 4 games, especially in that loss to Kentucky, that if you put pressure on Lamar Jackson, if you can keep him contained in that pocket, and he's not the type of the quarterback like a Tebow or maybe even a Manziel. He doesn't like running through, like if he's in the pocket and he's sitting surrounded, he doesn't like running through the offensive line. He likes to break out and run out, basically where the receivers will block for him. And he hardly ran against Kentucky whenever he was being held inside the pocket. And so that's whenever he had the key fumble, whenever he was trying to hold on to the football, getting sacked. And then he also had two picks in that same situation. So I think, Key and Gaccio are definitely they're not going to rush him. They're kind of going to
contain him.
Yeah, they're going to contain him because, Orgeron knows that if he gets to the outside, you're basically screwed. So I like LSU's defense in this game. But what I'm worried about is really their offense. Not because Fournette's not there, but if Geis can have a game like he usually does, but when Geis has these huge games, he had it against Arkansas, Missouri, and who else? What other games did he have a big game in? But they weren't really impressive defenses.
That's true. But he's running with a passion that can't be denied right now.
Yeah, exactly. He's a guy who he runs like someone pissed in his Cheerios every morning. But with this Louisville defense, they're no slouch, and they've seen a good running back themselves in Dalvin Cook with Florida State. But they did have a comfortable lead to where they didn't have to worry about making mistakes, and they just played their game. But I like the defense, but what I'm worried about is the offense and Deddy Etling. He is one of the most consistent completion quarterbacks I've ever seen. He's not a big play guy. He's a Dak Prescott, basically, just not as dynamic. But he really producer Zach, don't give me that look. This guy he's a game controller. He doesn't sit there and try to make big plays because he knows he's not that guy. You know, when you have a Leonard Fournette and you have a Darius Geis, it's more along the lines of give them the ball and complete passes on third downs.
That's true. I feel like we're going to have to avoid the big plays that Lamar Jackson is very capable of doing. Mm-hmm. But that starts with the defense, and we're going to have to pound the rock, and I think that's what we're going to be able to do.
All right, Jay, what do you think?
I think that, like I said, Ardarius Key is going to have a huge game. I believe the defense will be able to get after him, force Lamar Jackson to throw into coverage, and Tre'Davious White and Jamal Adams will make plays, set their offense up in great field position, and that will result in Geis having a huge day on the ground, open up the play action pass, hitting Jeter, Trevin Durrell, and all the other just athletic receivers for LSU. And I think LSU is going to blow Louisville out, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is kind of like the game where I have no idea what's going to happen. Because you saw because they went up against a quarterback kind of like Lamar Jackson, not as dynamic or just as, it's not Lamar Jackson, but Jalen Hurts in Alabama. Kept him contained, but then one busted play with some missed calls, I could say, he scored a touchdown. But that whole game, just containing him, not letting him get us outside the pocket. And when he didn't get very far at all. But, we all feel good about LSU. But another thing that we feel good about here, here in Arklatex, especially in Shreveport, is Louisiana Tech's win against Navy.
Go Dogs!
Both of these guys attended Louisiana Tech, right?
Yes, sir.
So they're very happy. I'm happy they won, but in my bowl pick'em, I picked Navy. So that was actually
You never go against it.
Hey, I was proven wrong. And one reason I'm very happy about this was because senior receiver Trent Taylor, who Bleacher Report calls the best player in football you've never heard of, he had a historic game. From Shreveport, played at Evangel Christian Academy, only had one scholarship offer, and now he's probably going to be drafted somewhere around the fourth round. I'm assuming. I don't think it's going to be a very high draft pick.
Bill,
but
take him, Bill.
Patriot.
He is going to be a dynamic player in NFL just because of his work ethic, and you can just see that he's 5'8", 5'9".
Wes Welker build.
Yeah.
Wes Welker skills. A little bit quicker, I think.
And his final bowl game, 12 receptions, 233 yards, 2 touchdowns. And, hey, Zach, click on him. I want to see his career stats. I think he is third. I want to say he's third all-time in receptions.
Go down.
In the NCAA. So, 327 career receptions, 4,000 yards, and 32 total touchdowns. And this guy was basically the leader. He was the sole guy for this Bulldogs team probably these past 4 years because he's 5'8", 178 pounds. Everyone loves the underdog, and everyone loves the underdog leading the football team. And with Trent Taylor just dominating there, I'm really looking forward to seeing him in the NFL, just like Dak Prescott, someone around this area really contributing to their football team. He might not contribute like Dak Prescott, but wherever he goes, I know he's going to be a major success just because he's one of the most athletic players I've ever seen. Wow. And JD worked at Evangel Christian Academy when he was there.
He has over 1,800 yards.
Yeah. His season 1,800 yards, 12 touchdowns. And he's not even the leading receiver on his team.
And you can't forget about his counterpart, though.
Yeah.
What's old boy on the other
Henderson.
end? Henderson.
Carlos Henderson. Tech, very. What was it? Did they not have a defense? I didn't really.
That's
They
what it
had-
was. They were in a bunch of shootouts. I mean,
Honestly, I don't understand why the Independence Bowl didn't get their head out their butt and instead of inviting those two teams, which was a horrible game, by the way.
Well, because they want Kyle Shermer there, you know.
Why not invite Louisiana Tech? Get more people.
that would have put
there,
some butts in seats. I'm telling you.
There,
and it would probably been a lot better football game.
yeah, and don't get me wrong, I was there working the game. It was fun being there. There was quite a lot more people than I thought there were going to be. A lot more than last year for sure. So I would say it was a success. You know, they got two good programs to come. Just North Carolina State really just had I don't know how. Maybe just because they do, but they had a lot more athletes on that team, or better athletes than Vanderbilt. They had their dude had 3 total touchdowns. He was listed as a fullback, tight end, receiver, running back. I don't know how that is, but that guy, I think he had like 200 total yards, receiving, rushing, 3 total touchdowns. But yeah, his name was Samuels. That's what his name was. Sorry, I was drawing a blank. But so Tech wins. LSU plays New Year's Eve, I believe, right? New Year's
They
Eve.
play the 27th or 28th.
New Year's Eve. I think it's New Year's Eve. Zach, check.
They play in a couple of days.
Either way, Tech wins. That's great. ULM,
29th?
I don't think they made a bowl game.
It's the 29th, my bad.
But
29th.
we have the LSU bowl game coming up, and that will be airing on 11:30 The Tiger. If you're traveling somewhere, you can't watch it somehow. You will be able to hear it on the radio at 11:30 a.m. The Tiger here in Shreveport. So, guys, let's go ahead. Zach, go ahead and bring up the New Year's 6 bowl games. Let's go ahead and talk about the major bowl games coming up, and we can go ahead and talk about the playoff too if y'all want. So let's go ahead and start with me and JD's, biggest game of the year for us with Oklahoma against Auburn. We've heard our take. We definitely think Oklahoma's going to win. What do you think about this game with Oklahoma going up against an SEC defense with Auburn? Because Auburn does have that elite SEC defense. Because that's where they've gotten this year. They didn't have a great offense, but their defense was spot on all year.
I've got to say, I'm SEC fan, SEC all the way, but I've got to be a realist here, and I think Oklahoma's got too much. The defense is, not stellar, but serviceable, and that offense is high-powered.
Yeah.
I think Baker Mayfield's going to have a big day. They're playing for something. They didn't get snubbed out of the,
No.
but at the same time, they're playing for a little bit more than Auburn right now, I feel like.
Do you still think Oklahoma got snubbed?
No, I don't but I think this is a playoff game for Oklahoma when it comes to recruiting.
Yeah.
Wise,
big time.
because right now they're ranked 3rd in recruiting in the commits they have right now, and a big win over another SEC team, which would make it 4-0 in the past 4 years against an SEC opponents. That is huge for them, and they'll bring in great talent. But I believe that the strength of Auburn is their run game on offense. They're not a very strong pass team, and the weakness on Oklahoma's defense is their secondary. The strength of it, they have a strength on their defense. It's their run game. So I think Oklahoma will be able to slow down the run game of Auburn. And then I just don't think Auburn has seen a offense like Oklahoma's, which in my opinion is a top 3 offense in the nation.
So it seems like a very good matchup for the Sooners, for sure.
They've gone up against Alabama, though.
But is Alabama's offense as explosive as Oklahoma's?
I'd say so. I'd say it's close to it.
Okay.
I would say it's close to it. They had a shootout with Ole Miss. They got shut down by probably the best defense in the country in LSU. But then they go and they shoot out against Florida, who everyone's raving about their defense this year. It was pretty explosive. I'm not saying it's just as explosive because Hurts is no Baker Mayfield. He's that quiet guy.
I think that Oklahoma has a lot more speed in the position wise.
Okay. We'll say they don't have crazy speed. They have a lot more speed than people think they have.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They have a lot more speed than what people give them credit for.
Yeah.
And with you take an Alabama, they're all power and they have speed, but it's not like the explosive speed that Oklahoma has. With D.D. Westbrook getting hit over the top by the connection with Baker Mayfield, and then the speed on the outside with Joe Mixon. He'll hit you hard, and then
I got that.
then Samaje Perine just pounding it up the middle.
I don't think you meant that. Did you mean
Yeah,
that?
I did.
Okay. I was going to say, if he just didn't realize you said it. Hey, fun fact. The Rainbow Warriors won the Hawaii Bowl. Big shocker there. All right.
It's rigged.
Yeah. No one wants to pay a team from Hawaii to travel to their bowl game. That's why they're always in the Hawaii Bowl. But, all right, so let's go ahead. And from that, definitely, y'all know my thoughts. I think Oklahoma's definitely, I'm with JD. Offense is a little bit too much for them to stop. I'm going to say it's because Auburn's offense cannot match Oklahoma's offense. I will say it's going to be one of those games where when Auburn has a ball, it's not going to be very exciting. But when Oklahoma's offense goes up against that Tiger defense, it's going to be, you have to watch that part of the game. And then whenever they switch sides, it's just like, okay, whatever. Because nothing's really going to happen on Auburn's offensive side of the football, I do not think, especially if they keep switching quarterbacks around. But let's go ahead and move on to the Orange Bowl. I actually like this game. I really do. Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines go up to face Jimbo Fisher, Dalvin Cook's last game, in the Florida State Seminoles. JD, who do you got in this one?
I got Florida State. I think that Michigan is a little down on themselves after losing 2 of their last 3 games to Iowa and Ohio State, and the way that Florida State has been playing.
Yeah.
This last month, their
After that Louisville game,
it was after the Clemson game. Their defense got to another level, and they started playing like the defense they have had over the past years. And Dalvin Cook finally started coming alive.
Yeah,
and I think he's in for
year.
over 200-yard game. I have strong feeling that Florida State is about to.
Yeah.
I think Florida State's going to win this game by 10.
That. That's not a bad prediction, but the 200 yards, it's a little bit.
I'll say over 100 in a TD.
Yeah, maybe.
But,
Go ahead, spill your guts.
I just think I don't think Michigan's obviously down. Another not snub, but they were that close. I think they should have beat Ohio State. That play was not a first down.
It was a first down.
All right.
It was a first down.
Agree to disagree. But
right.
I don't think Harbaugh's going to let them lay down. I think they got enough. I think Jabril makes, a couple big plays. I'm not going to say a pick six or a return touchdown, but enough big plays that they keep in it, and then they win at the end. I believe this will be a very close game.
Yeah.
I did pick in our last football podcast, Dylan. I did say this was my lock for a down to the wire game in this bowl season.
I really like the defense going up against DeAndre Francois. Really, he's going to be, I think, a definite Heisman contender. Maybe even next year or the year after that. I watched Francois first game of the year against Ole Miss. And I was very impressed with him, not because of his last name, but with the play. And he's a freshman with 3,000 yards, 18 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions. You don't see that very often. I don't even think Manziel had a year like that. I think he threw way more than 6 interceptions his Heisman year. But with Francois, he just seems so poised, so mature back there in the pocket, kind of like a Jalen Hurts. And whenever he can tell he's leading that team even as a freshman. It's very noticeable. Him and Dalvin Cook seem to really have a connection, especially in the pass game. And Travis Rudolph, 7 touchdowns on a year. I really like their offense, but just the way I saw Michigan, I understand what you're saying about them losing 2 of the last 3 games and being down on themselves. I don't think that's the case. You have Jim Harbaugh, who's a nutcase, and it seems like he probably forgot about that loss. Well, no, he probably will never forget about that loss. But he's making his team kind of forget about that loss because he's probably so hyped right now talking about how, you're going up against one of the most historic college football teams ever. And, and Michigan's also one of those. So it's one of those games where they don't even have to be good teams that year, but just if they were both, say if they both made it to Independence Bowl or something, people would go to watch that game just because of the history of those programs. And so that's one other reason I think it's going to be a great game, because they have so much pride in what they're doing. But I'm going to take Michigan. I think Jabril Pepper, this is Jabril Pepper's last game. I think he's actually going to have a dynamic game on both sides of the football. I think he's actually going to be very explosive on the offensive side. I see Jim Harbaugh using him a lot more, especially because this might be his last game, to just, utilize what he has to the full potential and not just kind of save him for the defense. And, I think he'll have maybe 15 carries, maybe a couple of receptions, and then maybe, close to 10 tackles. So I'm taking Michigan, like what JD said. It's going down to the wire. I just like Michigan. I like is Spate going to play in this? Because I know he played against Ohio State. I'm assuming Spate's going to play.
I think he is.
So I really like that. I like the how he controls the game for Michigan. Yeah. So I'm taking Michigan in that one. So let's go to the next one, Zach. If you can bring that up. All right. So we have the Western Michigan Broncos looking to end on the perfect note to go 14-0 going up against Wisconsin Badgers. So I really don't know about this one. I want to say Western Michigan. I want them to go 14-0. They definitely don't deserve to
Be honest, how many
playoff.
Western Michigan's games have you guys watched this year?
One.
0 for me.
0.
Okay. All I know is what I saw Wisconsin do to LSU, and all I know is Western Michigan is Western Michigan. This is, it's pretty astronomical what they've done, but
they're top of the second tier of Division One.
Yeah.
Like, give them all credit. They did what they did. They went undefeated. They did everything they were supposed to this season, and they got into a New Year's Six. But now you are playing with the big boys, and this Wisconsin Badgers defense is no joke.
True.
And they're going to rock this offense all around the field. And I'm sorry, but I think this is going to be
blowout.
I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think because Wisconsin's offense isn't that stellar, I think it'll be like a 31-10 victory. Like, that's not a blowout, but it's a pretty commanding victory.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pick Western Michigan on this one. I already have one outrageous pick, but I don't think this is the type of year like with Urban Meyer in Utah. I don't think it's that type of way. I don't think that they're gonna come out of nowhere and just destroy. Who was it they destroyed in the bowl game? Was it Georgia?
Alabama.
Yeah, that's right. Alabama completely demolished Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. When Utah was like, okay, and then everyone's like Urban Meyer, kind of like Tom Herman, and that's how Utah got to where they are now. But I don't see that in Western Michigan, and I say Wisconsin wins comfortably. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I say about 28, because you have to have a good offense to go 13-0, no matter where you are. So I'm gonna say like maybe 31-21, 38-21 Wisconsin. I don't think it's going to be a huge blowout because, Wisconsin's only got one area of their offense, and that's their run game. And I don't know how good Western Michigan's run game is. So it just really depends, but I don't know. This is the least interesting, but then also very interesting to see how the Broncos do.
One thing about it is you can't really compare. You can't look at Western Michigan's stats and say they're a good passing and running team because of who they play.
Yeah.
So that's where if you're betting money on this, I would stay away from this game if I was betting money.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's go to the next one. Producer Zach, attaboy. Okay, this is going to be one of my favorites to talk about. The Penn State Nittany Lions versus the USC Trojans. I'm going to go ahead and start on this one. One, I don't see yes, USC is pretty good this year, and on every podcast I do, I always get comments about how I disrespect USC, how I don't see USC how they really are. But what really are you? Yes, you got destroyed by Alabama in the first game of the season. Yes, I'm the type of guy who believes whatever happens at the beginning of the season doesn't really matter. But then you beat Notre Dame 45-27. Congratulations. That team's awful. You beat UCLA 36-14. Good job. That team's awful. You beat Washington 26-13. Good win right there. Oh, but then you go beat Oregon 45-20. Oregon's terrible. Then you beat California 45-24. California's terrible. Okay, you have one good win right there, yes. And it was a very close game. But then you have this team in Penn State who got demolished by Michigan in the early season. Then they go and beat Wisconsin, pretty good team. Beat Michigan State 45-12, a decent team. Rutgers 39-0. Not very good. At Indiana 45-31. Indiana, a decent team. And then beat Iowa 41-14. A team that beat Michigan and is a decent team. So you look at Penn State's schedule. I sit there. I'm like, okay, this team's for real. I would not have been mad if Penn State got into college football playoff. I wouldn't. I would have really liked that pick, but I understand why Ohio State's in it. I have no debate about that either. But when going up against this game with Barkley at running back, Barkley's having one of the best running back years I've seen probably since. I'm not gonna say Monte Ball because he had 30 touchdowns.
Ridiculous.
But I'm gonna say like a Reggie Bush type of year, not like dynamic, but he doesn't fumble the football. He's smart when he hits the gaps. He's crazy. His agility is insane. He's not afraid to run people over. He's like a Leonard Fournette, just not as big. And I really like that in Penn State. So I'm taking Penn State in this one. I'm not going to say it's going to be close, but I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout either. Kind of like with the Western Michigan, Wisconsin game, but this game is going to be more competitive. I say Penn State 28, USC 21. I say, it's going to be a close game, but it's not going to be as close as it seems on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I know I've been harping on this point a lot here, but Penn State definitely snubbed. I don't know how you can win that conference outright and not get a bid. So,
but
I mean, everybody wanted to see who got in, but at the same time,
it's like me. I don't care who would have gotten in. I'm okay with either.
Yeah,
both of them, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, and I don't either. I don't care. Not a big fan of Penn State for more reasons than one. But in this game, I'm gonna take Penn State as well. But I think it's gonna be really close. Like you said, it could be a touchdown, it could be 3 points. I think Penn State's got a little bit more to play for than SC with the chip on their shoulder. I like James Franklin. I think he's a great coach. He's turned that program around tenfold. I'm going to take Penn State by 3.
Okay. Oh, I like that. I just don't know. I don't know if it's going to be – it's either going to be a blowout or a really close game. It's not going to be in between. I don't know if
But USC has been playing on fire.
They have. But like as I said, Oregon, California, Notre Dame, UCLA. Again, like I said, with the Michigan, Florida State game, they have history. But they just – lately they're just awful. Notre Dame's going downhill fast. UCLA ever since Brett Hundley left. Oregon since I don't want to say Chip Kelly, but you know what I mean.
No, I don't know what you mean.
It's okay. Then what?
I'm picking USC, and I'm saying it. I think this is going to be a great game. I'm not saying Penn State didn't get snubbed, even though I believe that Ohio State was the more deserving team because of their resume. And if you put them on a neutral site with Penn State, not in Happy Valley, not in the Horseshoe, I think Ohio State handles them again. But anyway, the reason why I'm picking USC, and this might be crazy, but they're in their home city. They're in their hometown. They're not traveling anywhere. Penn State travels nationwide.
2005 Rose Bowl.
Not sleeping. They're not sleeping in their own beds. USC's sleeping in their own beds, okay? And this is the granddaddy of them all. And USC always plays spectacular in the Rose Bowl. It's really a gut feeling why I'm going with USC.
Okay, gut feeling. I understand. I do that a lot.
But do you see where my logic's coming?
I wish I could argue with you, but I was about to take USC, honestly. But I just said I think it's gonna be a close one, and I think Penn State's gonna eke it out. But I see where you're coming from.
Who did Oregon play whenever everyone found out about DeAnthony Thomas? When they had those.
Wisconsin.
Was it Wisconsin? Okay. For some odd reason, I thought it was USC. And I was about to. Wisconsin.
Did y'all know that here's a crazy stat for y'all. Monte Ball went to 3 straight Rose Bowls and lost all 3 of them.
Nope, sounds about right.
Yep.
Buffalo Bills all over again. All right, let's go to the next one. And we already talked about this one. Attaboy, Zach. Huh?
You haven't done the playoff.
Come on. Call yourself a sports fan. All right. Well, while he does that, Jessica, stop, chill. All right. So as he does that, we are going to just go ahead and discuss the one bowl game that everyone seems to think is going to be an absolute joke in the playoff, and that is Alabama, Washington. And I know JD's take on this. Gonzo, I want to hear yours. What do you think is going to happen in this football game?
I mean, you got to agree with Vegas. Alabama favored by 14. It's just, more times than not. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be Alabama winning by 14. I think Washington's got a little bit more than people give them credit for.
Thank you.
And nobody gives them the respect, man.
No one.
Nobody. Not this guy. Look at him shaking his head. I think they're going to come out. They're going to come out swinging, just like Alabama is every game. And I think it's going to be a 10-point game.
Man, I just
Guys.
Biggest
I'm
challenge
waiting.
to Alabama
I'm
this
waiting.
year.
Me and him made a bet that what was it? The spread? Oh no. Okay, whatever.
Okay, we'll do a spread. I'll take Alabama to win by 14. You can take Washington to get within 14. But we had that bet where Alabama's defense scores more than
That's what it was.
Washington's offense.
That's crazy, man.
Dude, that's stupid.
It's crazy.
Okay.
That's stupid.
I mean,
That's
I'm
stupid.
just-
I don't. Okay. Well, just go ahead. Okay, so you don't even want to talk about it.
I mean,
I like what Gonzo said about
I've given
Washington's
my-
coming.
I've given my take on it plenty of times.
Gonzo said that Washington's going to come out swinging, which is true. They are a team they're a rough team. They're a physical team, especially on defense. They like to hit hard, and I think this might be probably the top 3 defense that they've faced this year. I say their defense is better than Florida's. Maybe not better than LSU and Auburn. Definitely not LSU, maybe Auburn. I think this Washington team is going to surprise so many people. And like I've said before, I think Washington's going to come out, and I just have a gut feeling that Washington's going to come out and somehow win this football game.
All right, I like the opinion.
And I've heard like 2 other people actually say that, but I can't go against my gut. I really like what I see in Jake Browning and in Chris Peterson, just himself as the head coach. It's not because of the trick plays against Oklahoma. It's just how he coaches. And yes, I can't go against Nick Saban either, but I can't go against my gut. And I think Washington's going to. I think this might be one of the best games this year. And like I said in the other podcast, if it's a blowout, I would not be surprised. But I'm sitting here looking at the stats in the games that I've watched, Washington's games I've watched, Alabama. I seem to watch some of every Alabama game because they're just a team you just have to watch. I think this is going to be one of the best games this year. I think this is going to be what makes the playoff. I think this is going to be the key game that actually makes the playoff, and everyone actually realizes
It's going to give it some validation.
Exactly. And if Washington does that, then guess what? Everyone's going to start loving the playoff because, hey, I'm not going to say it's the better team, but hey, it's basically like the NCAA tournament a little bit. The underdog has a decent chance at winning. And I'm really excited about this game. And, if it's a blowout, hey, whatever. I'll continue drinking or whatever.
Any given Sunday.
Exactly. It's whoever comes out, punches them in the mouth first. It's hard to punch Alabama in the mouth. It's kind of like Muhammad Ali. But I would not be surprised if, it comes out and it's a lot better game than people expect. I respect you for saying that, man. I really do.
Appreciate
I
that.
thank
And
you
look
for
at those
doing that.
point spreads. I mean, they can score points.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that slip up against USC.
Yeah.
It was definitely coming on at that time. But
Definitely has one of, and at least he got an award. The best, maybe one of the best secondaries in the league or in the nation. But all right, so let's go to the the Fiesta Bowl, PlayStation Fiesta Bowl.
everybody gets a PlayStation that plays.
God, that's stupid. I wish I was on that team. I really want to.
I'm going to walk on just for the game.
I just want to be a manager or something. I'll be the video guy. All right, so we got the number 3 Ohio State Buckeyes going up against the number 2 Clemson Tigers. And I think this one's going to be a really great one, too. Gonzo.
I'll start, and I think I know y'all's stance on this. I don't know if you were present at the game, but I know JD went for that spanking
Yeah, I wasn't there.
that Ohio State put on those Sooners. But I'm going to go a little against the grain from what I think y'all are going to say. I'm going to go Clemson. And I think Deshaun's going to show out. This is a money-making game for him. This is draft position.
Definitely.
This is, it's always pride. But I think Deshaun's going to show out. I'm going to say 3+ touchdowns, and he's going to run for 100.
Okay, go ahead, James.
Oh, well, I just seen Ohio State secondary in person, and they are literally the fastest secondary I've ever seen in my life. Out of all the years of watching football in person, college, I've never seen a secondary so fast. And with Clemson being a heavy pass offense, that secondary, all their people in the secondary are ball hawks. I've never seen anything like it. And with Clemson's defense not being what it was last year, getting them to that national championship game, losing 8 starters from it, they can't really stop anybody. So that's why Clemson has been in all these shootouts. And with that being, they're going to have to throw the ball. And that's going to be the difference makers. Ohio State secondary is they're literally going to give Deshaun Watson hell. And I have a feeling Ohio State's going to win this game like 38-24.
Okay.
All right, so guys, so this is a fun one. Always love discussing college football. But thanks, Gonzo. Thanks for coming, man. It's really cool. For filling in. Probably have you back some more, dude. I really like you on the show with us. JD, as always, thank you. And for y'all, go Dogs. Celebrate that win. Producer Zach, thank you. As always, girlfriend Jessica's in the thing, whatever. And everyone watching, thanks for tuning in. And as always, God bless. Boom, hit that.